When the Småland debuted in World of Warships Legends, it came with a bug, and the nature of this bug was rather peculiar. It was something to do with the aiming system. When you zoomed in with the binoculars at a destroyer specifically, the lead that the auto aim gave you was way off. It was way too in front of the destroyer, so if you pulled the trigger, as soon as you zoomed in, your shots would land out way in front of the destroyer and not actually hit it. You had to sort of manually adjust the aim in order to get it properly on target. And that was, for me, a huge annoyance. I could work through it pretty easily because I'm quite familiar with the aiming system and I don't rely exclusively on the auto aim, but some people do rely exclusively on the auto game, and this bug made the Småland for them damn near unplayable. Well, I'm happy to report that the bug is fixed, and some people I think want to know my thoughts on the Småland now that the bug is fixed. Is it worth grinding to at tier 8? Well, if you like the Pan-European destroyer line and you like the Ostergotland, then yes, absolutely it is. And initially, I was running a torpedo-focused build on the thing, in part because of that aiming system's bug. Now that the bug has been squashed, I'm still running the torpedo-focused build because I think it's really nice to have your torpedoes loading in just a little bit over a minute. Although maybe in this game I'm actually running the Jerzy Swirsky build. I can't remember. I've been testing that out, and I kind of think you can go either way. But this game is really about the basics of destroyer play. You can see right now we're inside the Charlie cap. We've got our bow pointed outside so we can make a quick escape if this Kitakazi were to come out of his smoke screen and spot us, but he's not doing that. He's just kind of sitting there, and of course, we're not running the heel, we're running the radar, which I am more and more convinced is the correct choice on this, because we're able to catch this Kitakazi with, essentially with his pants down. He's not really moving to escape. Honestly, he kind of can't. And it's because we spot him with the radar, and we've got a couple of teammates very close to us, that we're able to take him out. And right off the bat, the enemy team has lost a destroyer, which puts them at a huge disadvantage. The Des Moines is shooting at us, but the Småland does have something in order to help it deal with that kind of thing. It's this engine boost, which increases your speed much more than the typical destroyer engine boost. I think on most destroyers, the bonus you get to engine power when you deploy that consumable is 8%, but on the French, it's like 20% or something crazy. And I'm pretty sure this is the equivalent of the French engine boost. It gets this thing going at about 45 knots in a straight line, so you can use it to disengage when things like Des Moines are shooting at you. The Des Moines, in particular, already has floaty shells, so if you're going really, really fast, it's going to be hard for him to actually hit you. In the meantime, though, this capture circle is basically entirely free now. The Des Moines has been forced to go behind the island. He's trying to farm my teammates in the center of the map, which is fine. And we've got our friendly Iwami charging straight at him, which, maybe not the best use of his ship per se, taking it away just to go after this one solitary cruiser, but to his credit, the Des Moines is a cruiser with a high battle impact and very dangerous to me in particular, so I kind of don't mind that he's charging straight for him. Even so, though, we've taken the Charlie cap, and our job on this flank is essentially done. Only the Des Moines is occupying the flank, really. The other battleship has retreated to the back of the map, and, well, we can't really deal very effectively with the Des Moines, so that's not our job. We're going to go over to Bravo instead, where at least two of our teammates tried to flip it, and I think sunk in the process. As we make our way over to Bravo, we're taking the opportunity as we go behind the island to farm a little bit of damage off that battleship and off that Yoshino. It did cause us to get spotted momentarily, and of course the Des Moines chimed in with his high explosive spam, but again, floaty shells kind of prevent him from being too accurate and too on target, and it looks like we're going to get this capture circle for free. There is one enemy destroyer left, and that's something we're going to need to keep in mind. The destroyer, spoiler alert, is also a Småland. And one of the reasons I have historically had this thing built for torpedoes is, well, A, because of the reload time, it's very good, but B, because the guns already at base have a pretty quick reload time. Now, if you build for them, they can become sort of Friesland level, which is very potent and very powerful. But even with the torpedo focus build, they've got like a 2.3 second reload, which honestly, not too bad for having 4 guns that fire that quickly. Of course, things with very high DPM are still going to outgun you, but these guns are good enough to make work of most destroyers. The interesting thing, though, is when the Småland is fighting itself. I have no idea what this guy's build is going to be, but we're about to see him here as we use the radar to spot him. We don't shoot immediately because we are still in line of sight of, I think, that Yoshino and battleship. So we keep our guns silent until we're going to be able to do some actual work on the Småland. We don't need to be spotted and shot by the enemies with only having shot 1 salvo at the Småland. In any case, we're opening up on him now as we retreat away. We want to keep the islands between ourselves and the battleship in Yoshino, but they are able to shoot at us and deal quite a bit of damage, which is not good. But on the bright side, our teammates are shooting at least a little bit at the Småland. I don't know if they've actually hit him, so he may in fact have come out of that trade better off. And right now he's in the Alpha Cap, which, as far as this game goes, is not a catastrophic thing. We hold both Bravo and Charlie, and it doesn't really seem like the enemy team is going to... Well, you know what? I take that back. Remember that Iwami earlier that was dedicating his life to taking out the Des Moines? Apparently he failed and the Des Moines killed him because the Des Moines is now going into the Charlie Cap. Still though, not catastrophic. Our early Caps lead has put us ahead on points in spite of the fact that, well, we were even on kills. We've just overtaken the enemy as one of my teammates takes down the Yoshino. I think the Delny performed a YOLO run on that Yoshino there. But we've only got eyes for the enemy Småland. If we can take out this last remaining enemy destroyer, we should all but guarantee the win. If you are the last destroyer left alive on your team, you exert a huge amount of battle impact, and that's our goal here, especially after we've solo capped, or I guess we assist capped, both Charlie and Bravo. We want to get into Alpha 2 and perform the hat trick or get the trifecta. This is what we're playing for. We're playing for the objectives, and we're playing to counter the enemy destroyers. That, in any destroyer you take, is basically the best thing you can possibly do for your team's chances of winning and for your place on the leaderboard. You're going to see we're not going to end up doing a huge amount of overall damage in this game. We are going to get over 100,000, but it's not going to be greatly impressive or anything like that. However, our XP is going to be excellent. We run into the Småland again. We're able to keep our guns on target. We're playing with our speed to hopefully throw off some of his salvos and being somewhat successful in that. And we get some assistance from a cruiser of our own who ultimately ends up taking out the Småland. It was the Des Moines, I think. But in any case, all the enemy DDs have been dispatched. We're good to take the Alpha Cap now, and we basically got this game wrapped up. However, you might be looking at the leaderboard and saying, well, you know, Xarkun, there is really no chance that you're going to lose this game. It's 2 versus 4 in your favor. Well, you might say that, but this is World of Warships Legends, and a lot of our teammates over here are, you know, fairly low on health. It wouldn't take too much for a Yamato and a Musashi to send 1 salvo at either of these cruisers here and take them out. Well, we're going to take the Alpha Cap here, and then we're going to move in toward that Yamato and Musashi. Even if they do take out our teammates, which, you know, I spoke as a prophet here, I guess. They did end up taking out one of the cruisers. So it's 3v2. And the Worcester, which I think is the last cruiser, is a one-shot kill for these guys. And I don't know what the HP of the battleship is. But in any case, we're going to move in. We want to get vision on both of these battleships. You can see on the island there that the Worcester is or on the map there, that the Wooster's sort of got himself tucked behind an island, and he should be able to avoid line of sight on both this Yamato and Musashi, which means if we spot these two battleships for that Wooster, he's going to be able to rain fire down on them. And that is also one of your goals as a destroyer. The Wooster is an incredibly powerful cruiser. It's got very high DPM, very fast firing guns. The HE power is great. It can chew through battleship HP, and that's before it even starts fires. But the Wooster is going to have a hard time doing that if this Musashi and this Yamato are not visible to him, and they really wouldn't be, because the battleship we've got is behind the island, which is directly behind me. He's got no line of sight on these two, and the Wooster also is behind an island in order to keep himself safe and not get shot by these guys. So we're the only ones providing vision, and doing that is allowing the Wooster to rain down his high explosive spam. Honestly, though, you actually can't really blame that battleship for hiding. He's on very low health, and facing a Musashi and a Yamato, I'm sure they can overmatch his bow plating, so he's understandably a little bit worried. The Musashi and Yamato, however, really don't have many choices open to them. They're so behind on caps that they absolutely need to get on one and contest it, so they've elected to just drive straight into it and in a straight line. And our spotting is, of course, allowing the Wooster to farm them as they come. So they really aren't going to be able to sustain themselves under that level of firepower, especially now that that wonderful will to rebuild skill has been nerfed. I suspect maybe that's what they're trying to employ here, but it's not going to help them. And if they look on the team lineup, they'll notice that there is one destroyer left, aka me, which you would think would prompt them to not sail in a straight line, but then again, they really don't have much choice. This again goes to show the efficacy of destroyers at the end of the game, and the efficacy of a destroyer when it's not even necessarily doing any damage. The fact that that Musashi has been melted down is thanks in large part to our spotting for this Wooster. We are the thing that makes the Wooster so effective. We're its eyes. And our torpedoes? Well, because they're traveling in a straight line, doesn't take too much to hit almost all the torpedoes on the Yamato and take him out, putting our damage done total over 100,000, nice respectable number, and of course, we end the game with over 3,000 XP due to our damage on the destroyers and the caps we took. So Småland is pretty excellent at winning games. I like it, and I think now that the bug on its guns is fixed, it's well worth grinding. Hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.